This is a TLDR about everything that's been said about Path of Exile 2 in the ExileCon 2023. Day 1. They changed the idea of PoE 1 and PoE 2 being on the same client, now each will be separate with their own leaks and changes. Yes, content on PoE 1 will not stop when PoE 2 releases. PoE 2 will be slower at the top end. They were talking about specifically when you have like a million fucking buffs and you have Headhunter and a lot of mechanics will be more contained, so it doesn't get so messy, but you will still be fast, at least faster than any other ARPG. There is gold now, monsters drop it, and every item in the shop can be bought with gold. Also, if you sell items, you will be getting gold back. There is gambling shops where you can buy items with secret rarity. This will be great to potentially get uniques early on. Auras, permanent minions, trigger skills, buffs and reservation are now separate from mana. It has its own resource called Spirit. You can now cast as many permanent minions as your spirit allows you to. Scepters will give you Spirit as well as many other items and passives. PoE 2 has dodge rolls now. You cannot cancel it mid-animation, but it doesn't have a cooldown. While dodging, any melee attack or smaller projectiles against you will miss, with the exception of skills with AoE like slams, for example. You are not invulnerable while dodging. Also, you can cancel any skill animation with dodge and it will follow your cursor. All gems starts with 2 sockets and you will increase those by applying certain jewels. Attack skill gems now scale with levels like spells once do. Weapons will be more important for casters as they always were for attack builds. Some league mechanics will be coming to PoE 2 with overhauls. Alba is one example. If you die to a boss in PoE 2, it resets, so engage it carefully. Every boss you kill gives you a permanent stat bonus to your character. Caster weapons are reworked. Each staff, for example, comes with a free spell built in. You can now drop and cut gems, which lets you right-click it and choose whatever gem you want. There are new trigger gems. Cast on Shock and Barrier Invocation are some examples. Also, there is an indicator that shows you when it will proc at the top left corner. Skins and microtransactions will carry on to PoE 2. You can now have different archetypes in a single build. Remember the video that I posted like 2 days ago? Well, it's been answered. How? With a single thing called weapon sets. You choose a weapon, either the currently equipped one or the one you have in the weapon swap socket. Then you choose a passive skill tree. Then you go to your skill menu, right-click the gem you want and assign the weapon set. This will mean that every time you cast that skill, your character will automatically swap weapons and passive tree with a little casting animation. You thought the PoE 1 skill tree was insane? Well, in PoE 2 you have 2. Just a quick note. Only points granted by skill books will be able to be used for skill specialization. There are 12 classes in Path of Exile 2, 1 per attribute and 1 per mix of attributes, like 1 class for strength, 1 class for int, and then you have a class for int strength. Those classes will be Witch, Ranger, Duelist, Shadow, Templar, Marauder, Warrior, Huntress, Sorceress, Mercenary, Monk and Druid. PoE 2 will have 100 distinct environments, 600 monsters, 100 bosses, 1,500 passive skills, 36 ascendancy classes, 240 active skills and a lot more. Every area in the game contains a boss with distinct mechanics. Most skills in Path of Exile 1 were rebalanced and have different animation and VFX in Path of Exile 2. You can now identify all the items in your inventory with 1 click just by speaking with an NPC in town. There is now a push mechanic where big objects will push smaller ones. For example, big monster will push through small monsters to get to you, or a big swing will move enemies back if enough momentum is made. You can switch directions mid-animation to reposition your attacks. Maces are great for breaking armor, whatever that means. Character starts with 9 skill sockets. Gems also have sockets. Socket colors are now deterministic with chromatics, so you pick the socket and you pick the color you want. Now, most supports will not add damage to skills, only utility. Some old ones are coming back like Fork. Stun, Freeze and Immobilize can be applied right away if you deal enough damage. If you don't, it will build up on the enemy, making it easier to apply with the next hit. Once applied, there is a higher threshold for all those effects for a duration. Mana costs will be applied when making contact and not during the initial animation. If you're stunned while performing the attack or spell, mana will not be spent. There is a well in every town to refill your mana, life and potions. PoE 2 will be taking place 20 years after PoE 1. PoE 2 will not have distances and radius like nearby, close and far away. Woohoo! Instead, it will have meters. There will be cinematics in Path of Exile 2 and the closed beta will be on June 7th, 2024. That hurt like a fucking bitch. That's it. Un abrazo. Wait. Subscribe, please, I beg you. It's just one click and it saves me a lifetime of working at retail. I fucking hate my job. I beg you. Please subscribe, please.